our second round match that we're just about to see features that well-known piece of Glasgow snookering granite, because Alan McManus really is one of the most durable players in the game.
Jimmy White is known as snooker's nearly man, but Alan McManus also falls into that category. He's appeared in well over 30 semi-finals, but has captured only 4 titles. The Scots won 2 ranking tournaments, the Dubai Classic and the Thailand Masters, but his finest achievement came in 1994 when he beat Stephen Hendry 9-8 in the final of the Masters. That brought the curtain down on Hendry's 23-match winning streak at Wembley. McManus has been a member of the top 16 for 11 consecutive seasons now, and the Celtic fan helped Scotland win snooker's World Cup in Bangkok in 1996. But he's still waiting to win a ranking event on British soil.
Yes, and Alan is playing another wily character, crafty Ken Doherty, who's been coming to the Crucible since 1991 and who made a dramatic breakthrough in 1997 when he became the first overseas player to lift the trophy since Canada's Cliff Thorburn. 250,000 people lined the streets of Dublin for Ken's homecoming that year, and since then he's been runner-up twice here. But Ken found himself in a bit of difficulty against McManus yesterday. He was 4-1 down. He eventually came out of that session 3-5 behind. That became 4-5 this morning, so can he complete the comeback now in frame 10? Watching in the box this time, Philip Studd and John Virgil. One
of the key reds here was there's a red that's just about on the black spot. He's playing for it now, and if he can, well, he's nicely on it. Pot this, get the black
6
on its spot, available into both corners. Chance of a sizable contribution here at this visit. The one on the black spot he's playing. And when the black's been spotted, he's checked that red just above the black. Does it go in the left corner? It doesn't matter really, he could screw for it for the same pocket as the black. Nicely played. Couldn't wish for a better opening at the start of a frame than this.
14.
Couple of loose reds to play for. Or the option, nice angle on the black to go into the cluster. He's not, he's playing for the loose reds. Oh, he's overrun that a touch.
22.
Wants to be straight on this red. I don't know if you can just roll it in now. Just about.
23.
Decided to play the cannon, stay all for the pink, and he couldn't have played it better. A lot will depend now where the pink goes after it's been potted. I don't know if the pink spot is available. There's no other spots available, so it isn't available. The reason I mention that, because there's a red just separated the bottom of the cluster. That's not there now. As you can see, there's one at the top of that little cluster goes. He's on one to the left corner. McKayla just trying to get that that pink ball as close to its own spot as it can go, in a direct line with the middle of the top cushion.
29.
Ken's okay here. Potting this, he may just release another red.
30.
Forced it through, really in an effort to bring reds into play. So one good shot on the blue and he'll be back in prime position Good chance.
$35. 36.
Signs here that Ken is beginning to find some rhythm, which he was lacking in the first session of the match.
$42. 43. 50. 10 Doherty, 50.
Well, that was a surprising end, wasn't it? I don't know what it is. There might just be the fact that Ken is just putting a trace of unintentional side, because it seems to me that when he's playing those shots, a little bit of pace. If you don't hit the cue ball in the middle, you're going to push it into the red. And that's two now. He played one in the first frame when he played with a bit. Alan, what have you done?
Well, that wasn't even close.
Well, he's tried to roll it in dead weight and hold for the blue, and, well, just never hit it.
Ken having the cue ball cleaned, but, well, the reaction there of Alan suggests he did get a kick, or maybe a bit of a kick and a bit of an underhit.
Yeah, probably a culmination of the two. And, well, Ken Doherty,
One.
very lucky to get back to the table this quickly. After the red he missed, he opened all the reds up. It looked as though he was putting Alan McManus in for a quick reply, but it's not worked out that way. And Ken now surely has a clear run to the line and second frame of the morning and level the match.
7.
And that would represent a tremendous result for Ken. Remember, in his first round match here at the Crucible against Barry Pinches of Norwich, he struggled a lot in the first session. The second, he was a completely different player.
Yes, I remember seeing that. I didn't commentate on it, and I thought, well, maybe signs that he is coming back to form, as you
11.
have mentioned previous, Philip. It's been a long time coming, his form, and he did perform well in China, albeit he went out to the young Chinese sensation Ding Junhui.
12.
And that's where you get your confidence. Well, that's a poor positional shot. I don't think he's on pink or black, is he?
And just as he was approaching the winning line as well.
I mean, you could say it's a little unlucky for the cue ball to finish there, but, well, it's not over yet. He's 62 points in front, but there's still 67 left on the table. How many chances does he
Doherty,
need?
12.
Well, he's taken the opportunity to put the green safe to provide some insurance. A little shake of the head shows he's still not happy with the way he's playing.
almost the perfect safety come snooker, but just a bit short, and Ken can pop this red to the right corner for the frame. That was all we needed, that one red. So another chance gone. Pretty good safety shot that from Alan. Wasn't straightforward by any means. And you know, Philip, I've seen some frames of snooker in my time, you know, and this reminds me of one of those frames where Ken has had so many chances and he's not taken them. And then something will happen, or usually does, and you just wonder whether he's missed his opportunity here, whether he's going to get another chance. I know at the moment, look at the table, 62 points behind Alan McManus, 67 on, but as I say, the chances that Ken's spurned, will they come back to haunt him?
Yes, the snooker balls can be very unforgiving sometimes if you don't make the most of your opportunities. That was a stern test of the cue action, very straight and quite close to the side cushion. Another chance for Ken to clinch the frame. It's there.
1.
So Alan now needs snookers, and it looks as though we're going to be all level at 5 frames each. That's what we call dead weight.
8.
But it's put the frame beyond any doubt now.
How easy this game can become when you pass the winning line.
16.
Certainly that way for Ken now.
17.
Terrific ready potted. Such a lovely flowing cue action as Ken.
22.
But as we've said, the last few seasons he's not been playing at his best.
23.
Not consistently anyway.
30. 31. 35. 37. Okay, we've conceded Ken Doherty 37 and the frame.
Well, it's still not entirely convincing from the 1997 Embassy World Champion, but Ken Doherty has levelled the match. It's now Alan McManus 5, Ken Doherty 5.
Yes, Doherty earned the nickname Comeback Ken 2 years ago during an amazing run to the final that year, and he's right back in this match again. In fact, in the next frame, he's on a break of 37 in front.
Ken Doherty, 37.
As soon as he hit that, he didn't fancy it, did he?
Well, that is absolutely amazing. Unbelievable. I don't think there's anything wrong with the table. I don't think it rolled off. As I say, you just couldn't believe it. But the way it's gone so far in its first two frames, you're not really surprised at anything that's missed. How did he miss that?
One.
Well, it's important for Alan now that he makes some capital out of that mistake. Balls aren't ideally situated, certainly for a clearance. But he has got the opportunity to at least get back into the frame.
7.
Absolutely, and I think he'll be just pleased to be still in this frame. Well, certainly a few moments ago he was sat in his chair thinking, right, well, I'm going to go behind here, I better get myself together. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, he's been presented with this opportunity, which, as you so rightly say, doesn't look like a frame when he won. But points-wise, he can really close the gap. Now, no one's played for it, but I think the black will go into the left corner pocket. And a chance here for Alan in rolling this red in to the right corner and play for the black, and could really open this frame up for him.
15.
Black on the spot will be handy, and it will be available then into both corner pockets. There you go. Clearly passes the red.
Twenty-two. 23.
He'll already be thinking about what he's going to do with those two reds on the side cushion on the right-hand side of the table. They're the key to this frame, with the colours on their spots.
Yeah, they're not on the bad side of the table for a right-handed player. He's not absolutely inch perfect on this black. May have to play for the red to the left middle here. And just do well. So he'll drop this red in, he'll get an angle on the blue to
30.
come back to this end, and it could be if he happens to fall on the right angle on the blue, he might then attempt to get on these reds near the right hand cushion.
31.
A lot will depend how he feels, but that looks pretty good. It's hard to say unless you're right behind the blue. It's a shot that you can feel. Can I play a run through and run into the red? If you can't, of course, you can play for the red near the top cushion. Well, that's not bad. He got the run through, released the red off the side cushion. He's nicely on this one.
36.
He's just 1 point behind. He could win the frame at this visit now.
$37.
Scores level, which means that McManus needs up to and including the brown to clinch the frame. Assuming he takes blacks with
44.
these two reds, which of course is looking likely given their position.
45.
He's taken these well, John.
Yes, as we said, it didn't look like a frame-winning opportunity, but once he'd got those reds away from the right-hand side of the table, he'd certainly give himself every opportunity. Now, he doesn't want to be too straight on this red. That would be very careless if he is.
52.
Got a 15-point lead. As it happens, with blacks, yellow and green would do. He's just having to make the angle here. Oh, but played it well. And this is a practice situation, really. The colours on the spots, you're on the black. You'll have played this a million times. Pot the black and get position on the yellow. You wouldn't expect this to go wrong. Inch perfect. So what a gift Alan McManus was presented, and unlike a few times this morning, as you said, Philip, when Alan McManus didn't take advantage of Ken Doherty's errors, eventually it looks as though he has.
Yes, as John says, just the green required. And this has been an important break for Alan. Without doing anything special, Ken had erased his lead this morning.
69.
McManus needed to punish Doherty's poor error in this frame. And that's precisely what he's done.
74.
And they were far from ideally situated when he came to the table, so this will give him confidence. Already breaks of 103 and 104 in this match. Add to that a clearance of 87, so Alan McManus stops the rot. He retakes the lead. He now leads Ken Doherty by 6 frames to 5.
Well, McManus actually has a score to settle here because the Glasgow player made it to 2 Crucible semi-finals when he was a youngster. But since 1994, he hasn't been beyond this stage, the second round, after he was beaten by a certain Ken Doherty. He's on a mission again in frame 12.
Oh, beautiful shot. Well judged. He knew there was a chance that he was maybe leaving the cut on a red in the left middle there, Alan, but he thought, well, if he played it dead weight, nestled into the reds, it'd be awkward queuing for Ken. As I say, this red will cut in, but it's tough. But well played.
1.
Yeah, nicely controlled. I think he can probably roll this red in. As long as he can avoid the red that's closest to the right-hand side cushion. If he can run this red in and bounce off the side cushion, he can play for the black in the opposite corner. If he's running into the red near the side cushion, he'll have to go up for blue. We have to go up for blue, and he's not far enough. He's not got the right angle on the blue. He'll do well now to keep this break going. He had a quick, almost desperate look to see if the pink would go, because the angle he's got on the blue will not bring him back for the Reds. He's having a look to see if there's a possibility of a plant. Definitely look as though they'll have to be made. Or maybe he's having, well, as you say, they're definitely not set for the corner. Maybe he thinks he can make them. This shows that a couple of inches further down the table, he'd have been right on the blue. He wouldn't have had to risk this, but he's looks as though he's set on playing this plant, and it's a dangerous shot.
Good shot. But still some work to do from a positional point of view. Although he's helped by the fact that there is an easy red over the bottom left-hand corner pocket.
Yes, it was fortunate that he didn't have to do anything with the cue ball. This red is one of those, I mean, basically all you can do is pot this. It's very hard to judge where the cue ball's going to finish. It's a thinnish contact. So in the end, Ken decided to
18.
play a little bit of side, run into the reds, and he possibly thought he was going to release the pink. And by the looks of it, he may just be able to get to the black. The other alternative is the blue, but the black keeps him at this end. A tricky little one, this. When he's hit it too thin.
Ken Doherty, 18.
He's struggling. He has struggled all season, and he's struggling in this World Championship.
One.
And having the cue ball cleaned, he certainly punished Ken's error in the last frame. Break of 87, restoring his lead. Can he do likewise this time?
Psychologically, in the game of snooker, when you make mistakes, or your opponent gets in and
6.
like Ken in the last frame, missed the pink in the middle, gifted a chance to Alan McManus, although Alan did well to win it, and there, that instills confidence into your opponent. They're not frightened of making a mistake. They're thinking, well, if I make a mistake, he isn't going to win the frame in one visit, and it just takes a little bit of pressure off their game.
7.
And Alan McManus started this morning 2 frames ahead. And once Ken Doherty drew level, you thought, well, maybe Alan was going to feel it. But as I say, he was let off in the last frame. Ken had a good chance in this and didn't make the most of it. Alan will be feeling better and better. And if he goes into this mid-session interval, and this is the last frame before it, still 2 frames ahead, well, it's as you were, and nothing has changed, and you'll be feeling a lot more confident. Just getting up there, something just catching his eye, putting him off. That's experience. Don't play the shot and then start complaining something put you off. If you're not comfortable,
15.
get up. And he just about got the angle on the blue. There's a couple of reds on the left-hand side of the cluster that will go. And I think when he pots this red into the right corner, he's just going round now to have a look to see if that releases a red for the left corner. It possibly does.
Well, that wiped its feet, John.
Yeah, not 3 times, and I knew the password there.
These championship tables require such great accuracy. On your average club table, that ball would have sailed into the pocket here because the cushions are so more demanding. The cut of the pocket is so much trickier. You have to be that much more accurate.
Got the cannon nicely. You'd expect him to win the frame now at this visit.
36. $37. $42.
Nicely played. He may have to play for the red on the top cushion here. I don't know whether he's got the angle to come off the top cushion and play for another red. Well, he's decided to play for one to the left middle. That's how difficult these players really do think they're the ones just off the top cushion. They do play them and they knock them in, but if they've got an alternative, they'd rather play for something else. Right in the heart of the pocket. Pot this black, go 40 points in front. So after this black, one more red in a colour.
Much to think about at the mid-session interval, one would think.
59.
Doherty took the first 2 frames of the session. Allen has responded by taking the next 2, and he's taken them well. An excellent break of 87, which was arguably better than the 2 centuries he made yesterday, because the position of the balls was not ideal when he came to the table. And he's beginning to cue a lot more sweetly now.
Yes, he's taking these very well, and every chance we could see another century from Allen. He's third in the match. If you were Ken Doherty's coach, you'd say to him at the interval, look, the only way he's getting in is because you're missing easy shots when you're in. Seems that Ken is competing on the safety side, and he's, well, in practically every frame this morning he's got in first, but you cannot afford to miss at this level when you're in amongst the balls.
85.
Alan will have been in this position 1,000,001 times in practice.
924.
But it means a lot more at the Crucible. His third century of the match. And a clearance of 107. Tremendous stuff from Alan McManus. He takes the final 2 frames of the mid-session interval, which means he leads by 7 frames to 5.
You can see it's McManus who's re-established that 2-frame advantage in this session. Best of 25, remember, in the second round. And we'll join it with Doherty to play in the 13th on a break of 30.
Ken Doherty, 30.
Overcut that one by some distance, but well, this is a chance for Alan again. It's not a straightforward red, but it's a very gettable one. Position on the next red, the problem.
If he could get the cue ball round about that circle. Oh, he's not hit it hard enough. Boy, this is very edgy snooker. This is typical
7.
Embassy World Championship fighting for a place in the quarter-final stuff, this. With neither player, although I was going to say neither player feeling that confident. No reason you would have thought for Alan McManus not to feel confident. Particularly the last 2 frames, a 107 and an 87, you'd have thought he'd have really been feeling good, but he's not showing it this frame.
Yes, the raw statistics would suggest that McManus has been free-flowing in this match. 3 centuries, an 80-plus break, another 50, but those statistics are a little misleading. But it was a good pot on the red.
Yes, he was just able to get through to it, but of course, because this last red near the black is awkward, if it had been good on the red, he could have played a better positional shot on the pink. He'll do well now to pot a colour. In fact, I don't think he was even thinking of it. He's considering bringing the yellow away from the cushion, which obviously is to his advantage, and trying to get the snooker. He could pot the pink, but that would only be for 6 extra points. So it's bring the yellow in play and try and get a snooker using that line between brown and green.
Alan McManus,
Well, I
8.
decided to come cushion first and snooker with the blue. Has he got the snooker? I don't think he has. Well, Ken can just hit it, but it's not the most straightforward of safety shots, this. This could be the key to the frame. Where's the cue ball going? It's going close to the pocket.
12. Alan McManus, 4.
Yes, I think he hit that a little thinner than he intended. There wasn't much to hit, but it was just that little bit too thin. And you saw the cue ball race around the table as a result, and straight into the pocket. Another half chance for Alan.
kiss on the brown. He does the perfect kiss. We've got a new favourite in this frame now. Little scratch of the head, but he couldn't wish for a better kiss on the brown. Of course, if he plays the yellow will come back on its own spot. So that's what he's looking at, because the yellow looks the obvious colour to play. But it's going to come back up, because of course he's potting the yellow after a red, and then there'll be the colours in sequence.
Modern technology is great, isn't it, John? That little butt extension, making a shot which was tricky because he had to stretch across the table that little bit easier.
Well, yes, why we never thought of that, I don't know. In fact, I remember when the Canadians come over with the two-piece cues, and we all sort of looked at them, well, what's that, you know?
5.
Well, a terrific chance now for Alan to take a 3-frame lead for the second time in the match. Moves into the lead.
And Ken can see another frame slipping away. Brown, blue and pink required for Alan McManus.
12.
Perfect on the blue. The necessary angle to just drop onto the pink. Just this pink required for an 8-5 lead. In it goes. Alan McManus is taking a grip on this match now. 3 frames in a row from the Scotsman. He leads by 8 frames to 5.
So after an 11-year wait, perhaps McManus is now beginning to think that a quarter-final place could be on the cards. A long way to go, though. It's McManus to play in the next.
When you're in a position I feel that Ken Doherty's in at the moment, where he's missed so many chances, and we're not talking about difficult ones, easy chances. He's really suffering at the moment from a lack of confidence. And somehow he's got to dig in and trust his cue action and try to get something to happen that will build up his confidence. Nothing will do that more than a sizable break. And he's first in this frame. Big moments in the match for me, for Ken Doherty. Such a tough competitor, but if you keep missing when you're in, that certainly can erode your confidence.
6.
He won't give in, he'll still keep battling, but he knows he's got to raise his game.
Yes, we know all about Ken's powers of recovery. Rewind a couple of seasons. 2003 Embassy World Championship, semi-final against Paul Hunter. 15-9 down going into the final session with 17 the target. Looked a hopeless cause. Doherty pulled back, levelled the match, and then won the final 2 frames to pull off the famous victory. And he'd been doing that throughout the whole tournament. Final frame deciders. Against Graham Dott, Sean Murphy.
14.
And of course in the final against Mark Williams, he had a horrendous first session and a half. He fell 10-2 down. But going into that final session against Williams, he was level at 12 all.
20.
So he's not a player who knows how to quit, that's for sure. And this deficit is eminently retrievable,
21.
but he has to take his chances. And you don't get many better chances than this.
See, there's an example. That was such a careless shot. He's played for the red
27.
just above the black spot here, and he's underhit it. He's still on it. He can just about get his cue past the red, but he should have been just
28.
off straight on that red. Wasn't a problem. There's a couple of reds in the just below the pink that will pot, and I think he's got a nice angle. Those are the two reds there, just done up. The choice of those two reds into the left corner. It's all set
35.
fair, but how many times have we said that this morning?
Yes, just when the match seems to have taken on a pattern,
36.
we've had a surprising miss. Certainly both players have been guilty of them. But thus far, Allen has taken more of his,
43.
hence his 8-5 lead. And this is a big game for Allen, as we said earlier.
44.
He hasn't reached the quarterfinals of the World Championship for 12 years. Would dearly love to put that right.
Yes, that was better from Ken. He thought about it, but that was the shot to play. Stun the black in, bring those three reds into play.
51.
Certain to be on another red to the right corner. Choice of reds. He was thinking of the one to take him up for the blue, but when you're in this position, if you can stay around the black spot area, it means the cue ball doesn't have to travel great distances. You're in control of it. Just playing little run-throughs, little
52.
stuns. That's okay, perfect angle on the black. Boy, you'd be disappointed if he didn't win the frame at this visit now.
Well, he just equalled his highest break of the match, which tells its own story.
59.
Well, if Ken was showing better form. See, once again, he's thinking of going up for the blue. I don't know why. He's got a red there that can send him on the black. Okay, he can play for the pink off this red as well. There shouldn't be a problem no matter what he plays, but I just say that once you get away from the black, cue ball's having to travel a little bit. When under normal circumstances, you'd be, well, if you were betting in running here, you'd bet for a century. But that won't even enter Ken's head. He knows how important these frames are.
Yes, the shot selection of a player gives you an insight into how they're feeling mentally, doesn't it, John?
Well, yes. I mean, sometimes the black off its spot can seem a very difficult shot. And there's a fact that the pink
67.
into the corner pockets, obviously you can see more of the pocket. Anyway, just this pink, and surely that'll be the frame over.
$73. 74.
Well and truly over the winning line now. Thoughts turning to a century. We've had 3 already.
80. $81.
But all of those have gone to Ken's opponent.
87. 88. 95. 96. 101. Ken Doherty, 101.
Final red miss, but it doesn't matter. Comfortably, Ken Doherty's best break of the match, 101. He's reduced the gap, but he's still behind. Alan McManus leads 8-6.
And he reduced it even further because Ken won the next frame, only one behind. And this frame included what our commentary team of Philip Studd and John Virgo described as one of the shots, if not the shot, of the championship so far. What do you reckon to this snooker laid by Alan McManus, John?
Absolutely fantastic. And how many players who were playing here would have thought of that shot? I mean, he's played off the 3 angles, come right round the table, perfect judgment. Just caught the jaw, and that is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful shot. Now you know why it's called angles.
Angles McManus.
Because that is absolutely magnificent. But the great thing for Ken is he comes back down. You know, he knows this could be very costly. Side cushion, never easy to judge. And only full ball.
Not bad at all. Yes, we always thought this was going to be tight and tactical, and that's the way it's proving. Absolutely engrossing match so far. So into the last frame of this session, can Ken complete yet another comeback in this match, or will McManus take a lead into tonight's grand finale?
And right from the early stages of this match, John, you just got the feeling that it was going to go the distance, and nothing that's happened in this second session has changed my mind about that.
No, it looked on paper when you looked at the draw, it was hard to pick the winner. There's been a few twists and turns. I would think if it does go 8-all at the end of this session, psychologically I would give the edge to Ken Doherty. I think Alan McManus will be very disappointed. He was probably a little bit aggrieved. He was only 5-3 up after the first session. To have lost this session 5-3 in effect, if he loses this frame with the chances he's had, he'll be very disappointed. And not only the chances he's had, but the way that Ken's played. He's not played consistently, as that cue ball just hangs on.
Decent safety again, managing to cover those reds on the left side of the table by the brown.
Yes, and Ken has got the straight red to the far right corner. It's not a red he'll have any relish taking it on. He hasn't potted too many of these, and he's not going to play this one. He's just playing a containing safety. Well, he tried to get the cue ball back to balk. It looked like an afterthought, because it was a tough shot, and he's made a mistake. And first chance to Alan McManus. It was a tough shot, as I say. It seemed like an afterthought. He'd had a look. He was playing it with a lot of left-hand side. Never easy to judge on these super fine cloths. Not the best chance for Alan because the black's tied up. And he's going to have to do a little bit of work with the cue ball to get back up for the blue. Lots of check side. Bit too pacey. He'll have to settle for the yellow. And funnily enough, yesterday when I heard Stephen Hendry's press conference when he had that very comfortable victory over Anthony Hamilton, he was saying that he just didn't feel as though he was playing well enough to win it at the moment. And sometimes your performance just can drag you down a bit. You know, you've been missing shots and this, that, and the other. But the bottom line is to win. And I think this is what this match has turned out now. Who's going to win it? It's not about playing well. It's not about all the stats of pot success and everything else. I think this is just a battle now between two players who are desperate for ranking points, because provisionally they both dropped down. I mean, Ken's top 16 place will be okay now, but he was provisionally down to number 13, so he was all right. But Alan McManus was dropping down to number 17. I'm sure he gets his place back. So winning this match now, not about your performance, so obviously that will help you in your quest to get through to the quarter-final. It's a big frame, or big match for both players.
Yes, I think there's also been an element of the two players dragging each other down. Hendry was making the point that it's very difficult to remain as focused on the job as you should when you go a long way ahead, and sometimes it takes your opponent to start playing better for you to raise your game, and both players in this match have been guilty of errors throughout the match and subconsciously aware that if they miss, it's unlikely to be as costly as it might otherwise be on a day when their opponent was at the top of their game.
Yes, quite right. That can certainly take an edge off your game. But I think if Alan McManus is going to take anything out of this session, he'll want to retain that two-frame lead that he started with. Anything else, he'd be very disappointed. Just the way the twists and turns of the 8 frames have gone. He'll feel he deserves at least 4 apiece, but sometimes it's not about what you deserve, it's what shows on the scoreboard. But a good chance here now. Not a frame winning one, not yet.
16.
Interesting to see, after potting the pink, which is a little bit easier in this, I must say, where the pink spot his relationship to those 2 reds in the middle of the table. You'll need the pink in play.
Seems okay.
22.
Yes. I think the key, though, does it go in the left corner? And I'm not certain it does. If it does, he's fine. We'll soon know off this positional shot. Oh, yes, it does.
23. Can you please not do the sweetie thing when he's on his shot?
The sweetie thing. The sweetie thing. I've heard it. Don't do them rappers, but do not do the sweetie thing.
Oh, I guess it's a variation on a mobile phone, but equally as irritating for the players.
Oh, the rustling of sweets. I mean, that is the one thing about the atmosphere, and we were saying earlier about the crowd are very close. You can hear people breathing, never mind rustling sweet paper. The worst thing used to be the bag of crisps, because not only did you get the bag of crisps, you got the crunch when they were eating them. Should all be banned.
And it never ceases to amaze me how many people come to the Crucible with a raging cough.
Well, good pot. I think he may have had eyes for the blue, but he'll settle for the pink because he's got the right angle on the blue. And it could be, he could manoeuvre those 2 reds just below the pink into possible positions. Could be a key to this frame, this. No.
Settle for that?
Not really. The problem is, I mean, he's got this red to the right corner. It could work out in his favour. He's going to have to play this with a lot of pace here, and it could even release the black. But he's going to trust to luck for position. The main thing with these shots, make certain you pot the red. He's going to play it hard. He doesn't know where the cue ball is going to finish, but don't miss the red.
Well,
Alan McManus, 36.
you said it, John. That's precisely what happened. He was concentrating on trying to free the black. Took his eye off the pot. And look what he's left here. Suddenly all of those reds are in the open, as are the black and pink. And what an opportunity this is for Ken to come out of a session which he has once again struggled in, with a share of the spoils on aggregate. Taking no chances, getting the cue ball cleaned. This is a big opportunity for Doherty, and he knows it.
Nine.
Yes, as you say, a big opportunity. And one of those opportunities,
60.
when you sat in your chair a couple of moments ago, he would never have thought he was going to get. Okay, he may not have thought that Alan McManus was going to win the frame at that visit. He certainly thought he was capable of getting a few more reds, few more colours, and then if he ran out of position, Ken may have thought he'd be on the baulk cushion for his next visit. To come to the table for any player at this level with a nice easy starter, the black was then in the open, the pink on its spot, the blue. You couldn't wish for anything better. Let me put it this way, if any professional came to the table with this opportunity, every time they came to the table, they'd win, well, they'd win the World Championship. These opportunities don't come that often. What it is really is just keeping yourself together. And not easy, particularly when you've missed a few easy shots, as Ken has this morning. Just got to trust your cue action. I keep saying it's like a golfer saying trust your swing, and it's exactly the same.
All Alan can do, meanwhile, is sit and suffer. The unique nature of snooker is that when your opponent's at the table, all you can do is sit back and enjoy the view. And I don't think he'll be enjoying this. He was 8-5 up. He seemed the stronger player. And he's now facing the real possibility of seeing that lead evaporate.
Yes, I know Alan, and you could see his reaction when he missed that red. It was so annoying, because as I say, he not only missed the red, he brought the black into play, he opened up the game. For himself, he was thinking. Didn't want to take any chance in playing it slow. He'd probably play the yellow here to play for the red to the left centre. Yellow or brown, I mean, personally, I prefer the yellow. It's just a straightforward stun off the side cushion. He's playing the brown. Instead of a stun off the side cushion, if he'd have played the yellow, it was a screw off the side cushion with the brown.
45.
Looks as though he landed perfect on this red.
46.
10 points in front. Pots the blue 15 points in front. So the last two reds with reasonable size colours, pink and black for example, and that would be enough. Look straightforward now.
51.
Two reds, two blacks. Oh, well, I say look straightforward. You can see the problem that Ken's got. He just got into the cue ball a little bit too much. This blue is just hampering him slightly.
In it goes.
Can't see a problem now, Philip. He's got a nice angle on the black just to hold for this last red. He's 16 points in front. Make that 23.
Ooh, struggled just a little bit, but
I
it
know
went
it
in.
did. And because it struggled, he's not
59.
perfect on this red, I don't think. He's come a little bit too straight. Needs this red in a colour. Problem over.
Crowd reaction will tell you.
7.
That Doherty has done enough.
Ken Doherty, 67.
Level the match, unless Alan McManus can claim the snookers he requires.
And Alan did not get those snookers. So it's Mr. Doherty who levels the match 8-all, having twice been 3 frames behind, and they will play to a finish tonight from 7 o'clock. And I wonder what it is, John and Terry, about the respective styles of both these men, which always leads to close matches between them.
Because they're two very good, solid match players who very rarely play the wrong shot, and what they do play, they usually play to a very high standard. They're a bit like two stags who lock antlers, these two. They just go into a battle and, you know, it can be many, many hours before the outcome is resolved.
What do you think has improved in this championship that's been missing for Ken Doherty in the last, what, 18 months? He's really struggled, Terry.
Well, it's amazing that Ken, on our one-year provisional rankings, which is only this season's rankings, I know it's 2 years, he's up to number 4. But everybody says he's struggling because he's not really in the finals. But if you win the first and second round, which he's doing very well, but he's just not going forward from there, you know. And I suppose that reflects his form here so far. I mean, he's played superb in spells, and then very poor the next frame or whatever, you know. And I think a little bit of inconsistency. Yeah.
I suppose that's been part of McManus's problem as well, but we've seen improvements in his game too. John reached the semi-finals in China 3 weeks ago. Where do you see these improvements in the way he's playing?
Well, he just seems to be hitting the ball better, quite frankly. He's made 3 centuries in that match so far already, and you know, he's hit the ball really solidly, and he looks like he's up for it. He looks like he's, you know, he's well in tune with it. Disappointed to be paid back from 8-5 behind, but big session tonight.
It's ironic, John, because I think Alan had made only 4 centuries all season, and he's made 3 in this match. It's extraordinary, really. It does bring the best out in you, doesn't it? OK, well, all that and the rustle of sweetie papers, only at the Crucible.